Day everyone, this is Faye and Belluga and I will discuss about behaviorism. What is behaviorism? Behaviorism is a theory that focuses on shaping behavior through conditioning. This means that it focuses on reinforcing appropriate or desired behavior through positive or negative reinforcement, as well as eliminating undesired behavior through punishment. It focuses only on behaviors that can be observed or measured. This means that it does not include the study of emotions or motives. The history of behaviorism. It was formally established by John B. Watson in 1913. According to him, give me a dozen healthy infants, well-formed, and my own specified world to bring them up, and I'll guarantee to take anyone at random and train him to become any type of specialist I might select: doctor, lawyer, artist, merchant, chief, and yes, even beggarman and thief, regardless of his talents, penchants, tendencies, abilities, vocations, and race of his ancestors. This means that all behaviors are all result of experience. Any person, regardless of his or her background, can be trained to act in a particular manner given the right conditioning. These are the behaviorism theories. First was Ivan Pavlov, the founder of classical conditioning, and conditioned stimulus causes unconditioned response. John B. Watson, who coined the term behaviorism, studied how a certain stimuli led organisms to make response and believed psychology was only an objective observation of behavior. And next was B.F. Skinner, who founded the radical behaviorism, proposed that all action is determined and not free, operant response behavior that control the rate at which specific consequences occur. This will be tackled later. Here are the types of behaviorism. First, methodological behaviorism states that observable behavior should be studied scientifically and that mental states and cognitive processes don't add to the understanding of behavior. This means that observable behavior follows a systematic process when conditioning before learning happens, and this behaviorism aligns with Watson's ideologies and approach. Next is radical behaviorism. It is rooted in the theory that behavior can be understood by looking at one's past and present environment and the reinforcements within it, thereby influencing behavior either positively or negatively. And it was created by B.F. Skinner. When connecting it to the classroom setting, as a teacher, we should first study the background of our learners in order to provide the right strategies in managing their behaviors. Classical conditioning. It is a technique frequently used in behavioral training in which neutral stimulus is paired with a naturally occurring stimulus. The naturally occurring stimulus comes to evolve the same response as the naturally occurring stimulus, even without the naturally occurring stimulus presenting itself. The associated stimulus becomes known as the conditioned stimulus and the learned behavior is known as the conditioned response. For example, is clapping 3 times to get class quiet and counting down from 1 to 20 to get class to clean up. Next is learning through association. It works by developing an association between an environmental stimulus and a naturally occurring stimulus. Created by Ivan Pavlov. Ivan Pavlov's classic experiments, dogs associated the presentation of food, something that naturally and automatically triggers a salivation response. At first with the sound of bell, then with the sight of a lap assistant's white coat. Operant conditioning. It was created by B.F. Skinner, and it is a method of learning that occurs through reinforcement and punishment. Through operant conditioning, an association is made between a behavior and a consequence for that behavior. B.F. Skinner described it as the process in which learning can occur through reinforcement and punishment. For example, if a parent rewards their children with praise every time they pick up their toys, the desired behavior is consistently reinforced and the child will become more likely to clean up messes. Here are the behavioral learning theory. First is the positive reinforcement. It involves applying a desired stimulus following a desired response. The idea is that a person will continue to exhibit certain behaviors if they receive a reward for doing so. For example, if the class is behaving poorly, I will develop a behavior management system to motivate them to behave better. At the end of each hour, if the students have followed the rules and at an acceptable level, I will put a mark on the board. At the end of the day, if there are more than 5 marks, I will draw a star on the board. Once there are 10 stars, the incentive of a pizza party will motivate them to follow the rules. Next is the negative reinforcement. It is also a tool for reinforcing desired behaviors, but it involves the removal of an undesired stimulus. The idea is that a person is likely to continue certain desired behaviors if doing so means that individual is able to avoid a consequence that he or she does not want. Next is punishment. It is about eliminating behaviors, not reinforcing them. So when a person did a mistake, so you will punish them, and he or she will eliminate that behavior. Here are the uses of behaviorism. First is in education. So behaviorism can be used to help students learn, such as by influencing lesson design. For instance, some teachers use consistent encouragement to help students learn. That is an example of operant conditioning, while others focus more on creating a stimulating environment to increase engagement, and that is an example of classical conditioning. Next is, it is used in mental health. Behavioral therapy used in the treatment of autism and schizophrenia. This type of therapy involves helping people change problematic thoughts and behaviors through improving mental health and changing maladaptive or harmful behaviors in both children and adults, such as intensive behavioral intervention, behavior analysis, token economies, and discrete trial training. Here are the applications to instructional design. First, students will work for things that bring them positive feelings. Then the use of token system can reinforce positive academic performance. Then students can utilize the art of repetition so that information remains concrete during the learning process. And small progressively sequenced tasks ensure that students remain focused during the learning process. Some examples of application. A teacher provides a substantial list of practice problems for students to help them learn algebra. So the stimulus here is the practice problems and the response is the correct solution to the problem, and the learning, the repetition causes the student to learn algebra. Example is a computer simulation helping prospective airplane pilots learn to fly rewards the user with tokens for each successful simulation that after collecting enough, they can cash in for flying a real plane. The stimulus here is the reward of tokens for proper demonstration of knowledge, and the response is the feeling of accomplishment of getting closer to goal of flying. Then the learning is the repetition causes the pilot to learn to fly, and the tokens help reinforce the proper demonstration of flight. To end this discussion, I will share to you a quote. A failure is not always a mistake. It may simply be the best one can do under the circumstances. The real mistake